Peter here, aka Peter Freakout 10, bringing another episode of the Movie Review Show, where the good movies are always reviewed. Okay, back into our movie review, and I'll continue in my 7 movie reviews, baby. Hell yes. Alright. Okay. Now, today's film is going to be surprising to some people. Not surprising what the film is, but the fact that this was my first time viewing this film. And when I say what the title is, you guys are going to be like, what? And I say that because the particular action genre this is in, like a hard-boiled, like, action film that really pulls no punches. That might be surprising to some people because I love this particular genre, and I have a lot of action films that kind of have this hard-boiled like nature of this film in the works that I plan to review and watch. But this is one that I've surprisingly never seen before. And the fact that this is my first time viewing it may seem surprising to some people. And it's a film that was made around the time Die Hard was huge, because in 1988, Die Hard was released and was a big hit in the U.S. And then in 1990, 2 years later, we get Die Hard 2. And because of those films, they were so successful, and the fact that they were the career launching point for Bruce Willis, so many studios wanted to throw their hat in the ring and actually try to emulate what made Die Hard such the what's the word I'm looking for? The Tolkien of action films. The jewel, I should say, of action films. Some were good, some were bad. The few that have done it, and I know that my good friend Kyle, aka Jurassic Godzilla fan, mentioned this in his review, that there were a few films that kind of had that style, but they didn't completely steal from Die Hard. For example, we had Speed, which was basically Die Hard on a bus. But it was in 3 different areas: the elevator, the bus, and this train. We also had Under Siege, among many others that I can't think of at the top of my head. Even Die Hard 2, which was basically Die Hard in an airport. Even Air Force One, which kind of had the same idea as today's film, but that's another film I have not seen. Shocking. I actually want to see that, quite honestly. But, yeah. There's been a lot of movies trying to emulate the Die Hard formula, and today's film is one of them. And also, much like Die Hard, which helped raise the bar for Bruce Willis to become an action star, this film did it along with that, and Speed, which also did the same thing for Keanu Reeves. And what film is that, you may ask? That film is none other than Passenger 57. Heck yeah. He's an ex-cop with a bad mouth and a bad attitude. For terrorists on Flight 163, he's very bad news. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's the basic plot, but I'll get into it deeper later. Moving forward, Passenger 57 was a film made back in 1992, and this was directed by Kevin Hooks. And Kevin Hooks, before this, helped with the TV show The White Shadow. He would go on to direct Fled with Stephen Baldwin and Lawrence Fishburne, another film I haven't seen. Half of his films I haven't seen except for this one. He also did The Black Dog with Patrick Swayze. And among many others, but this is the one that so far has gotten the good reviews. Anyway, moving forward, yeah, but when this film came out, it was a pretty modest hit at the box office. It made $44.7 million on a budget of $15 million, so it was a pretty big hit. And I'm surprised how much it made. I'm happy that it made that much, but it was released around the same time as Disney's Aladdin, and in my mind, I thought Aladdin was gonna bust this movie to the ground, but for how much this film did, it actually, well, I shouldn't say how much it did, for how well this film did, I'm mincing my words, but how well it did. It's actually pretty surprising that Aladdin didn't top it. I mean, I think it did, but it wasn't like stomping it to the ground and whatnot. Critical reception was mixed, though. Roger Ebert, I think, is one of the few people that gave it a good review, and critics panned the script, but they praised the main actor and the villain. But as I said, I never found out about this film till now. And how I found out about it was through my good friend Kyle, aka Jurassic Godzilla fan, who did a review of this film, said he enjoyed it. And his review and what he was saying interested me, and I thought that the plot sounded interesting, the idea sounded interesting, and so I scoured the net looking for stuff about the film. I looked at the reception, I looked at scenes from the film. Well, I shouldn't say scenes. I didn't want to spoil it. I looked at a small clip from the film. I looked at some trailers, and the more I looked into it, the more interested I got. So as you guys know, I showed the update how I got this on VHS and popped it in. I gotta say, I like the film. Is it this particular actor's best film? Because I want to say who his name is in like the acting side, but I wouldn't say it's his best film because he's definitely gone on to do better, which I'll mention. But for a start for this particular actor, I think it was a very good start. I wouldn't put it in the top 5, but it's definitely still a very good film. But anyway, I'll get into all that later. But anyway, as I said, made in 1992, directed by Kevin Hooks, and it stars Wesley Snipes, who around this time, this wasn't his film debut. Before this, he was in Major League, which was my introduction to Wesley Snipes, and my favorite baseball movie of all time. Before he was doing, I think he was doing comedic stuff before this. I could be wrong. He was in Wildcats, Streets of Gold. He had a quick role on Miami Vice. Major League was like, I think, like his first step away from TV. And pretty much after this was like the film that launched him to be an action star and really put him on the map. Because after this, he would go on to be in Demolition Man, which I have right here. This is another film that I want to review. He would be in Money Train. Train is coming round. That's another film I actually plan to review. He would also be in Drop Zone, another film that I have coming in the mail. U.S. Marshals, and of course Blade, which helps show us that comic book movies don't always have to be kid-friendly. But this was the film that really helped Wesley get on the map. It was the film that as I said, made him the superstar he is. And as I said, I think it was a great start, and I'll get into why later. You also have Bruce Payne, who would later go on to be in Warlock 3. He would replace Julian Sands, and I wasn't the biggest fan of him as the Warlock. I think Julian Sands is the Warlock. No one can play the Warlock better than Julian Sands. If you guys seen the movie Warlock, you know what I'm talking about. But what else was he in? He was in Dungeons and Dragons, masterpiece. He was in Highlander Endgame. He was in One Tough Bastard with Brian Bosworth. He was in Switch, which most of his films I haven't seen other than Warlock 3. He was in The Apocalypse with Richard Harris, aka Dumbledore, among other films. But this is the film I know him for. Hold on. You got Tom Sizemore, who was in The Relic. He was also in Heat. He was in that awesome game. He was Sonny Forelli in Grand Theft Auto Vice City. You have Elizabeth Hurley here, who is hot. She would go on to be in Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. She was in that one Ice Cube film. She had a quick cameo in the second Austin Powers. Bedazzled, the remake, directed by Ron Howard. She was in Dangerous Ground. Harold Ramis, I meant. Not Ron Howard. Harold Ramis is who I meant. Sorry, I got them both confused. She's in Dangerous Ground, among many others. You have Alex Datcher, who I don't know anything about. Bruce Greenwood, Robert Hooks, and many other people. But Passenger 57, I enjoy this film. I definitely do like it. I think it was a good start for Wesley Snipes, and definitely easy to see why he went on to do more. But that being said, I wouldn't say it's his all-time greatest film, because it is his first film where he was an action star. But I wouldn't say it's like his best film, because he's definitely gone on to do better. But that being said, I thought it was a good start for him. I'm not gonna. It's definitely not his worst film. It's nowhere near his worst film, believe me. But I definitely do like the film. I do. But I'll get into why I enjoy this film later. Anyway, the basic plot of the film is basically this: at the beginning of the film, we meet what's his name? John Cutter, played by Wesley Snipes, who is an ex-cop who lost his wife after this shootout happened in a grocery store, and his wife was killed. Well, I wouldn't call it a shootout. This guy came in and pretty much was trying to rob the place, and like basically he had his wife in like a chokehold and was holding the gunner, and he shot her, and he shot him back through the window. No, and pretty much since then he's felt regret, and he's quit his job as a policeman and is working on the show where he's basically showing people how to defend themselves on a plane and whatnot. And so pretty much as that's going on, we also see this guy named Charles, played by Bruce Payne, who is a criminal that has been on the run for a long time. He's done like plastic surgery and whatnot, and they finally catched him. And basically, Wesley's commission is basically pushed by his friend Sly, played by Tom Sizemore, who plays my favorite character in the film, to basically come back into the police and be an air marshal. And pretty much we see him on this plane with this woman named Marty, played by Alex Datcher, who the two are butting heads because he was basically trying to teach her how to defend herself on a plane, and basically he was like, you should have done it like this, and she was like, I was doing it my way. Well, she wasn't like pushy, but she was kind of kind of mean towards him, even though he was trying to teach her something. But anyway, he gets on the plane, and they're about to transfer him over to, Charles over to, I think it's L.A. probably. Yeah, L.A. to get his trial. And while on the plane, there's this other flight attendant, played by Elizabeth Hurley, and basically she helps him get free, kills the security guards, and pretty much takes everybody on the plane hostage. And pretty much John is now one of the few who's an air marshal on the plane, and now has to put a stop to all this. All the while Sly's pretty much communicating to him, trying to figure out how to stop it, and pretty much try and pretty much get the plane landed safely and get everybody off the plane. All the while, Charles is pretty much raining down hell on him and trying to put a stop to him as the ride goes along. Will John be able to save the passengers on the plane, or will it be an even bigger mistake for him than the one that happened to his wife? Or will this whole mess lead to a bigger mistake than the one that happened with his wife? I'm not good with that stuff, but Passenger 57 is great. I definitely do like the film, but at the same time, I do have its problems with it. But I'm not. But it's still definitely a good film. Definitely a really good film. One of the few things that I do like about the film is the fact that I like the idea of it being set on the plane. Much like how Air Force One did it. I mean, I do think Air Force One kind of handled the plane idea a little bit better than this. I still feel it did really well. And in general, I like the idea of it being set on a plane. Whereas, like with Die Hard, like it was this building that they locked down and whatnot. And the fact that it's on a plane and like so many people have taken it over is kind of scary. And this wouldn't be a movie that you would see made today because of 9/11 and all that. But the fact that it's on a plane and you can't even get off the plane is kind of scary. And I really love how how the film handles the idea of you being on a plane with these terrorists and you're like caught in the middle as people are being gunned. Well, not everybody's gunned down. I wouldn't say everybody's gunned down. Well, people are getting killed and pretty much you're stuck in the middle being controlled by a passenger who's a criminal and is taking over the plane. And when I first heard that they were putting him on the plane, I'm like, why the hell are they putting some prisoner on a plane with these innocent bystanders? They could be endangering their lives. If this happened in real life, somebody who said that, they would be fired. Literally, they'd be fired more than anything. The minute they walk in, like, it was a failure, sir. You're fired for putting him on the plane. Yeah. But I like how the film handles it. I like the claustrophobic setting of the plane and whatnot. And it leads to some good action scenes on the plane. There's definitely some well-done action scenes. Kevin Hook, I think, does a good job with the cinematography during the scenes. The scenes where the plane is flying, like, towards the end when it's flying over that carnival, I thought that was really well done. So, I think the film handles its setting well. It uses it for some great action scenes. How Kevin Hook shoots it, I know a lot of people say the script is bad. I didn't think the script was that bad. I really did not think it was that bad. I think Kevin Hooks handled it well. And it was $15 million, so it's not as big as, say, these two films, which I dare say I like those two more than this film, but I still like this film. But I thought it did well. I thought it used the setting well, and I think it did it for the right amount of time. However, that does lead to a problem, though, and I'll talk about that when I get into the negatives. But overall, I thought it was definitely well handled. The setting, the story was unique, even though it wouldn't happen in real life. I still thought it was really well done. And the acting in the film is also top-notch. Wesley Snipes, I think, did a great job as the main character, John Cutter. It's easy to see that he's going with the Bruce Willis personality in that Bruce Willis gave to John McClane in Die Hard. But in a way, he's not completely copying and pasting, because with Bruce Willis, he was more of like a guy who was like, going through the steps and whatnot, trying to basically fend for himself, also helping those in trouble. Here, he's more... John is more of like John Cutter. They both have the same name. John McClane, John Cutter. Here, Wesley gives John C. More of like a tragic kind of personality where he lost his wife and he's trying to deal with that. And the scenes, like the scene of him where you see him getting that flashback of when his wife was killed in the grocery store, I thought it was really well done. I love how it's shot in that black and white, kind of to give that old kind of like kind of sad feeling to it. Because when you're black and white, because sadness to me is kind of black and white. And I like how it was shot, and you see him like punching the bag and whatnot, looking over like this thing burning. I don't know what it is, but I thought he did those elements really well, and I thought those elements were incorporated really well into the character. And I respect the movie for trying to give something different to the character while also trying to do what made John McClane so well done. so well done as a character. So definitely felt how Wesley Snipes handled those moments where he is going through the tragic reminiscence of his dead wife and remembering how he could have saved her was really well done. Especially when he's on the plane, you see that again, and I like that element. I really think it works well with his character. I like the fact that he still remembers how he could have saved her, and now he's going through the motion again, and will he do the same thing that happened with his wife? And I like that with his character. However, when he does get cocky, he's cocky. And I like some of the lines he gives. Definitely easy to see why Wesley Snipes became an action star from this, because I like some of the lines. One of the scenes I really enjoy, which would later become his catchphrase, was where he's on the phone, the plane phone with Bruce Payne, and he's like, you ever play roulette? And he's like, no, yes, why? And he's like, always bet on black. Yeah. That scene was funny. I also like the part where he's like trying to basically, where he's fighting with Bruce Payne, and basically, he sits him down in like this area because they get off the plane, and the movie takes a turn when they get off the plane, and you see him in that room, and he's like, I forget the line, but it says like, I'm gonna wax you all over the floor or something. I know they have it in the quote style. You need the passengers. I need the plane. This is what Charles Rains says. Put me back on board and the passengers will be released. John Cutter says, yeah, right. Why am I'm supposed to trust you? Trust your instincts. And John says, my instincts are to wax your ass all over the floor. He says it more violently than I do, but that line was awesome. Wesley Snipes, I think, knew what to do, especially getting into the character and whatnot. I thought he did it really well. He really adds a tough guy personality to him, which I think really works. And it's definitely, again, it's easy to see why he became an action star because of this. So yeah, Wesley Snipes, I thought, did a good job. And then you get the villain, played by Charles Rain. And Charles Rain, I think, did a great job with him. I really like the sly, kind of quiet characteristics that he gives him, like this sort of red feeling that you get when you look at him, and you can see like burning in his eyes, like he's gonna mess you up when you look at him. Like the quietness really feels hostile to him, how he talks, it really sends shivers up your spine. I think Bruce Payne did it really well. Especially the scene, like he's not like the yelling type. He's more of like who's in charge, and just shoots him. And I love that about his character. Granted, I will say I do think Alan Rickman kind of did the same thing, and I think Alan Rickman definitely played it better. But Bruce Payne, I thought, did it really, really well. He's definitely creepy too. So I think he's much better in this as a villain than he is in the Warlock 3. I think here they give him more to do and he's more creepier. But yeah, really love the quiet feeling he gets. The scenes of him on the plane and you see the hostility, the parts of him, like when you know like something's up with him, just how he looks at you, like the expression on his face while blank, you can still sense there's something wrong with him. Bruce Payne, I thought, did it really well. And some of his lines, like one of the lines that he uses when he's about to kill people, like, what time is it? Or like, how do you like your steak, sir? Bloody red. Kind of gives like a Hannibal Lecter personality, which is another thing they mention. So, yeah, I love that about Bruce Payne. Elizabeth Hurley, I thought she did well too. She's kind of the assistant to him, who kind of sneaks her way onto the plane as a flight attendant, and She did well. She did well. I mean, there's not much to her. She's more the assistant in some parts, and then at the end she gets punched out by Wesley Snipes. So, yeah. But, yeah. Tom Sizemore, I think, also had some good lines. I like Tom Sizemore as an actor. I like him in The Relic. Of course, I love him as Sonny in Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I think here he did a fantastic job too. The scenes with him and Wesley, like the scenes of them arguing and whatnot, like he's trying to convince him to come back, and Tom Sizemore just has this characteristic to him of this really kind of loudmouth guy, while likable personality that I think is Tom Sizemore, and I love him in this film. I think he's funny. I think that the moments he is on screen, he's just so into it, and it just makes me think, like, I think no one could have done this better than him. Tom Sizemore was perfect, and he gives the character so much energy, but it's not to the point where it's annoying. He gives it the right amount of energy. When he is serious, he's serious and whatnot. So, Tom Sizemore I thought was great. But one of the problems that I do have with the casting is Alex Datcher. I don't know who this woman is. There's no picture of her on IMDb. She would go on to be in Body Bags as Anne, Goody Behavior. Wonder she didn't go anywhere, because I didn't like this woman. I thought she was an unlikable character. The scenes of her, like, yelling at him was like, he was like trying to give you advice, lady. Calm down. I know you're trying to help. And then she gets captured and becomes the damsel in distress and barely does anything, and Wesley Snipes has to save her. I just thought she was useless. And her character could have been written better. Her character could have been written so much better. Like, the moment, I didn't buy the scenes with her and Wesley Snipes talking. I felt like it could have been written better. Maybe she could help him or something. Or better yet, get a better actress to do it. Because Halle Berry, I think, could have done it better. Because around this time, Halle Berry was doing Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis. And that's a film that I also plan to watch. Or get someone like, I don't know, get someone who at least has charisma. This girl didn't. Alex Datcher, I just thought was just there to whine and moan and whatnot. No, I just didn't like her in this film, but yeah. The other actors do their parts really well. And it wouldn't be an action movie without talking about the action scenes. The action scenes in this film are great. When the action gets rolling, it gets rolling. There's definitely some good bits of choreography, good fight scenes. Like, I like that part with the guy on the bottom of the plane, the baggage claim, and he has the knife, and Wesley's, like, fighting him. Good choreography. I like the choreography in this film. It feels practical, hand-to-hand combat. You get practical blood squibs in the film, which definitely look real and whatnot. Especially, I love the fight scene where he catches him in the bathroom and he shoves the guy's head in the toilet. Like, that scene I thought was great. So there's definitely some nice action parts. There's a good energy to them. I especially like the part of the carnival, but that also kind of comes as a flaw too, which I'll get into. And that's something that I really want to talk about. The flaw, I think, is what really hurts the film for me. But the action is there, the choreography is there, the special effects look good. I didn't see any CGI in the film, which is definitely a plus for me. And it's just overall really well made. Especially, I love how he dies is definitely really well done. So, yeah. But there's one flaw I feel hurts the film, and it's not only Alex Datcher, but it's the fact that as the film gets in the middle, you see them come off the plane. Like, the plane needs to land because it needs fuel and whatnot. And, like, you see them at a particular airport, and basically, the movie takes its action scenes into, like, this carnival area, which, while well done, the carnival area is definitely well done. And I do like the part where he jumps on the Ferris wheel and whatnot, and he's trying to catch him. I thought it was well done. It's definitely a cool idea for an action scene. Reminded me a little bit of Beverly Hills Cop 3, which I know might not be a good reference to some people. I don't think it's as bad as, say, Pluto Nash for Eddie Murphy. But I definitely do like the carnival part. But in a way, I wish the movie took place more on the plane. I wish that it didn't have to land, and I wish that it was set more on the plane and didn't take its business off, I should say. Because the movie kind of loses steam after that. It kind of loses originality. And it becomes more like an action, well, I don't want to say generic, because this film is far from generic. It just becomes more, it loses the originality that I feel the first half and the last half have. And I feel that Air Force One kind of handled that better. But to me, that's the hurting point of this film, is the fact that they get off the plane and it goes into the carnival. And I felt like it could have worked more and benefited more if they were on the plane still and continued to use the area. Granted, it's a very small plane, but I still would have liked it more if they did that. Yeah, but still, overall, Passenger 57, I dare say, is a good starting point for Wesley Snipes. It's not his best film, definitely not his best film, and he's definitely going to go on to do better, which we'll talk about in later videos, but I still felt it's a really good movie. Definitely a good action film, and it's definitely a film that I think, if you're looking for a good Saturday night action film, definitely check it out. Definitely one that you can pop in and just enjoy. So really, I recommend you check out Passenger 57. It's definitely a really good film. Definitely one that I recommend. While not Wesley's best, it's definitely a good starting point for him. And we'll see more to come from him soon. But yeah, definitely really enjoy this film, and I think you will too. But that's my review for Passenger 57. And next time, I'm going to do a review of Coneheads. This is a film that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. I'll tell you guys what I think of that soon. But yeah. Also, I have a quick update coming on stuff. I ordered some more stuff. But anyway, I'll get into those later when they come. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Passenger 57. Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? Be sure to thumbs up this video. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.